Hi, this is I'll Explain. This time I will explain the new Gundam. New Gundam, model number RX-93, is the last mobile suit Amuro Ray piloted, as far as the record goes. We did talk a little bit about New Gundam with Narrative Gundam, the proof of concept prototype of New Gundam. However, we didn't talk about why Amuro Ray designed New Gundam the way it is, how quickly it was built, and that is only about 70% completed when it scrambled all the way from the moon to the Earth's low orbit. Amuro Ray designed the New Gundam about a year after London Bell was formed, partly due to being unsatisfied with mobile suit provided by the fleet, partly due to aware of Neo Zeon continue to expand and improve their use of psychomill weapons, but most importantly, coming up with a mobile suit design that can handle the two concerns mentioned within a reasonable budget. Being the commander of the mobile suit teams of London Bell means Amuro needs to look after every mobile suit within the fleet, especially those not deployed with him, since he wouldn't be there to help them. When London Bell was formed, the Federation Force also retired most Zeta Gundam variants because Neo Zeon was largely broken up into local guerrilla forces and lacked the capabilities to deploy high-end mobile suits. So there are no reasons to keep a large fleet of Gundams, let alone transformable ones. Amuro did act on that. He requested for the development of economical versions of Zeta and Double Zeta mass production types, which would later be known as REGC series and the Vita Plus series. However, as these cost-down versions of Gundam being field tested, Char Aznabu appeared and started to unify the broken Neo Zeon. Not only that, Char was using the improved psychomill weapons, and they seem to be more widely distributed with Char's involvement. And so Amuro designed the New Gundam to be larger like Double Zeta Gundam, to reserve space for larger Minafuski reactor, for more firepower and melee prowess. He kept the mobile suit non-transformable and not include a core fighter to keep the cost of production and maintenance down, so they can be invested into Amuro's new weapon system, the Fin Funnels. Amuro also wanted New Gundam to be developed quickly, so other than the Fin Funnels and psychomill system, the New Gundam's overall design very much follows the Zeta series, but with all the non-essential elements removed, and it would be able to be built in the same production line as the REGC and Vita Plus. As a bonus, this also led to New Gundam looking a lot more like RX-78, something the Federation Force and government very appreciate, hoping that would remind people how they bring peace back to Earth Circle in the One-Year War, instead of the debacle and following string of war with the Titans. While New Gundam was mostly developed and built by Anaheim Electronics, the Federation still assigned the RX prefix for it because, again, they want people to know this is the New Gundam made against New Zeon, like how the old Gundam fought against the old Zeon. With experience using Zeta Gundam series, Amuro understands how psychomill system can improve traditional mobile suit control as well. He integrated psychomill system into the New Gundam's transmission controls, allowing New Gundam to respond with much higher level of accuracy and speed to match with Amuro's phenomenal reflex and finesse. New Gundam is also said to be designed with all of Amuro's combat experience reflected on it. Let's take a closer look and see what they are, starting from the head. First thing you will notice is how much it looks like RX-78, not just with the grilled face mask, but also a row of exhausts on either side of the helm. Pair of Vulcans on the forehead, very much standard for Federation and Gundam type mobile suit, and Amuro have been using them very effectively. Interestingly, the antennas are arranged in the quad array like Zeta and Double Zeta for their outstanding performance, and likely common supply chain to speed up new Gundam's development, production, and maintenance, and hopefully cost reduction down the road. New Gundam's body also looks a lot like RX-78, especially those late type with improved armor, larger Minafuski reactor, full dome monitor, and spheric cockpit. That is because this is the design Amuro picked, and mainstream method for Federation to improve their standard mobile suits. Amuro chose this design again to speed up New Gundam's development and reserve budget as much as possible. Unlike RX-78, however, New Gundam is built with a movable frame for its skeleton, much like the Zeta series and other Federation mass production mobile suits at the time, meaning New Gundam would have even more interior space to accommodate more powerful hardware. While Amuro would like to use cycle frame as much as possible, due to the limited supply of it during New Gundam's development, it is only applied as reinforcement for the structure of the torso and function as amplifier for the standard cycle mill system installed. Sure, standard cycle mill hardwares are larger and heavier than cycle frame, but with New Gundam's larger size and exclusion of a transforming system, New Gundam has plenty of interior space and carry weight for them. New Gundam skirts are leaning towards the Zeta series in design, with long front skirts, side skirts full of apogee motors, and back skirts with integrated thrusters. New Gundam's legs return to the RX-78 style, with thrusters and counter thruster installed in the calf. And like the torso, New Gundam's legs are also built on a movable frame, again giving more interior space to install more powerful thrusters compared to what was possible on RX-78. And again, New Gundam is built larger, so they can be even more powerful. In addition, the New Gundam's legs are further reinforced for combat on Earth, bearing the weight of the fin funnels, and most importantly, designed with expectation that Amuro would use them for kicking strikes. Going back up to the arms, you will notice the shoulder with their counter thrusters array much more akin to the Zeta series, but the arms themselves are similar designs like RX-78 and still built with movable frame. This is intentional as Amuro would like to reserve space for weapon port attachments. Having said that, New Gundam has a beam saber holster on its left forearm where a standard beam saber is hosted. The similar design also allowed New Gundam's arm to be reinforced, since Amuro found grappling very important between high-end mobile suits and prolonged melee combat. Last but not least, their simpler design allowed New Gundam to use higher ratio of standard parts, keeping New Gundam easy to develop, build, and maintain on a more favorable budget. New Gundam's backpack is once again inspired by RX-78 but built pretty much like one of the Zeta series. It is built with two sets of thrusters and auxiliary generators for left and right. The middle does not have a tail stabilizer but a holster rack for a hyper bazooka, which is not included in this G-frame. The auxiliary generators are there for weapon recharge, a beam saber holster on the right and fin funnel joint on the left. They are modular so they can change places or have one of either on both sides, but this G-frame does not have this gimmick. While we are at it, let's go through New Gundam's arsenal, at least those on this G-frame. Vulcan on the head, a beam rifle, a beam saber on the forearm holster, a shield with built-in beam cannon and missile bank, customable beam saber on the backpack holster, and fin funnels carried by the fin funnel joint. The Vulcans are standard model used by the Earth Federation at the time, but with cycle mill control and Amuro skill, it is very deadly to mass production mobile suit at the time, let alone some of the surplus Neo Zeon may use. The beam rifle, while labeled as unique to New Gundam, was built with standard parts in the Federation inventory, once again as Amuro looked out for the budget and maintenance. However, it is more powerful, accurate, and has higher range of fire than regular beam rifles used. In fact, it even has a beam machine gun mode. It also has a grenade launcher on the top, offering Amuro options for different situations, since London Bell functions more like a counter-mobile suit terrorism force than actual martial law enforcement, and likely double as a first responder to mitigate collateral damage. In fact, with Amuro's skill and the fine control offered by Psychomule system, New Gundam may be the best mobile suit for search and rescue at the time. The beam saber on the forearm holster is a standard Federation model as mentioned. It is placed directly under the shield straps because it would be protected by the shield, and it can be drawn with the protection of the shield. The shield is loaded with weapons much like how Federation did for their mass production mobile suit. While Amuro himself haven't been using these kind of shields in the past, it is a good place for non-standard weapons. That's why Amuro chose to install a beam cannon instead of a rifle and a missile bank on the back of it. The beam cannon is powered by an auxiliary generator with Minovsky condenser that is also installed at the back of the shield. The benefit of using a beam cannon instead of a beam rifle is that they are easily scalable, and with larger volume behind the shield, this beam cannon can shoot beam bolts with twice the maximum output of the beam rifle. Of course, the output of the beam cannon is also adjustable, so it can be adjusted for rapid fire like beam guns. The missile bank has a capacity of 4, loaded with standard missiles, again offering more alternative firepower to New Gundam. The customable beam saber, sometimes just labeled as New Gundam's beam saber, is designed by Amuro as New Gundam's main melee weapon. Unlike most weapons on New Gundam, the customable beam saber is built with some of Amuro's newly designed parts. Luckily, thanks to the Zeta series, Anaheim had made some great advances in beam saber production, and the customable beam saber was built without a hitch. The customable beam saber is named so because its main blade can project longer and wider than standard models. It is also more powerful than standard models, easily overpowering them. In addition, it can project a short blade on its pommel for parry and grapple range combat. The customable beam saber also has a single side guard on a swivel, offers hand protection that would be rather important in prolonged melee combat. Last and most importantly, the signature weapon of New Gundam, the fin funnels. While New Gundam was usually recorded to carry 6 of them, in theory New Gundam can carry as much fin funnel as the pilot can handle, or just before New Gundam collapsed under their weight. Anyways, fin funnel is named so because it is arranged like fins in the carry mode or flight mode. The square block in the middle is actually the main thruster of the fin funnel, and slots on either side of the tips are also thrusters. Combining with the powered joints, the fin funnel can move omnidirectionally along with New Gundam in space, although sadly the G-frame only has them fixed in carry mode, nor include a separate one in firing mode. The fin funnels have latches on their sides to attach to each other to be carried, and thruster nozzles on the tip double as anchor point for the fin funnel joint on the backpack. All of the fin funnels are the same, so they can dock on New Gundam in whichever order they can back. Going around the back, and we can see the back side or inner side in firing mode. The more complex block in the middle is the beam emitter, powered by the same auxiliary generator that powers the main thruster. More complex shape can be seen running down the tips. They are I-field generators, the same I-field used to compress beam blades on beam saber, and these I-field generators are arranged in series much like acceleration field generators in beam cannons. This is done because Amuro figured out by lining up 2 sets of I-field generators you can propel a beam bolt like a beam cannon. In firing mode, the tips would bend inwards to line up their generators, compressing the beam particles disposed by the beam emitter, and then propel them once they reach critical pressure. This design allowed the fin funnel to fire a much more powerful beam bolt than its size, and the fin funnel is already bigger than funnels used for the period. In addition, this also allows the fin funnel to fire in different modes by adjusting the output of the I-fuel generators, even on the fly, as the fin funnels are built with cycle frame, should the pilot have a good understanding of the system, like Amuro himself. On top of all of that, the fin funnels can work together and form an I-fuel barrier between each other, and with 4 fin funnels, they can create an I-fuel barrier in prism shape to surround New Gundam or other target the pilot intended to protect, up to but not limited to London Bell's flagship, Rakalim. This is why Amuro went out of his way to make New Gundam itself as simple as possible, because the fin funnels are very powerful, versatile, and designed to counter other funnels with its superior thrust, firepower, and ability to defend against other funnels. Like we have looked at on the narrative Gundam Equipment B, fin funnel prototypes were much larger, only getting size reduction thanks to cycle frame. It is also possible that fin funnel can fire much more powerful beam shots and have a very effective I-fuel barrier thanks to cycle frame, but we wouldn't know as New Gundam was lost during the access shock. Remember, on top of the video we mentioned New Gundam was only about 70% complete? Amuro intended for the fin funnels to be loaded on both sides of the backpack, but he had yet to figure out how to holster the customable beam saber along with the fin funnels, and the weapon port on the right forearm, and other part of the design that he would have improved if he field tested New Gundam personally. However, Char was on his way to drop access on Earth to create another Ice Age to force all of the privileged class living on Earth to move in space along with the rest of humanity. In order to prevent this ecological disaster, Amuro decided to put his skill as a mechanic to the test, scrambling straight from the Anaheim factory from the moon to Earth's orbit on a support flight system, only bringing his chief engineer with him for one final checkup before engaging Neo Zeon in full force and Char Aznavour in Sazabi, a mobile suit that is as powerful but has months of field tests by Char himself. But Amuro's effort pays off. His decision to reinforce the arms and legs of New Gundam ultimately won the showdown against Char and Sazabi, despite many Neo Zeon mobile suits tries to protect their general. However, Axis was already being pulled by Earth's gravity, and London Bell's effort to break up Axis failed, since it was a space fortress after all, and Neo Zeon was protecting it with all of their might. As Char told Amuro that he had won in his escape pod, Amuro captured Char's escape pod and decided to push back against Axis 4 with New Gundam and Char's escape pod. Now, as powerful as Gundams are, their thrust to weight ratio is only about 2, and often less with their standard loadout, so pushing back against a space fortress falling onto the Earth is futile, to say the least. But for Amuro, he was demonstrating to Char how he wouldn't give up on humanity for the capacity to be better, pretty much waiting for any signs to prevent a complete destruction of human civilization on Earth. Maybe Axis would show structural faults in re-entry and Amuro can exploit that. Or maybe his push would send Axis in a different trajectory that would do less ecological damage. However, humanity does have the capacity to be better. Federation and New Zeon forces started to notice Amuro and New Gundam's effort, stopped to fight and joined in the push against Axis. We only have a estimate of about 200 mobile suits fought around Axis at the time, but we are pretty sure all of them still wouldn't have enough thrust to push Axis off course and away from falling onto the Earth. As Axis began its re-entry, it started to explode like a volcano but showing no signs of breaking up. Only blast those brave soldiers who were trying to save lives on Earth with their own. Others just have their mobile suits spontaneously exploded, either from the heat of re-entry or damage sustained from the battle, or both. A lucky few escaped with their escape pod, but many just got blasted along with their mobile suit. But even then, those who joined did not falter, and then the Axis shock happened. Eyewitnesses said the green glow was emitted by New Gundam but quickly spread around Axis, carried Axis away from Earth, and showed no sign of stopping when the rescue team came to save those who survived. It is hard to tell if people who were rescued were lost from Axis explosion, re-entry's heat, or just that their mobile suit gave out and exploded. But it was certain that New Gundam wasn't one of them, and seems to be carried by the green glow that carried Axis away. Amuro and Char Aznabu were officially declared MIA, but no one knows for certain. But the legend of New Gundam and Psycho Frame have sent mobile suit development into a new height, and a plot that would bring Universal Century into a new era. Thanks for watching.